Hello, friends. This is Dr. S.K. Pandit, head of the department Psychiatry, Central Hospital. For a long time, my friends are asking me to say something about how personality grow within our children's, adolescents, youth, and what is its relation with self-identification and other thought which makes a contribution to identify ourselves. What is its relation with the building ego within our mind, and how these egos are related with the defense mechanism of the mind? How this growing of personality is related with behavior of the youth, adolescent, children's, and what is its relation with mental health, physical health, emotional balance, external world or environment, and the level of energy within our mind and body. So, to resolve all these questions, conflict, and confusion, today we are here to discuss. So, let's start about personality. If you want to install a good personality within your growing child, or any youth, or any adolescent, so don't focus on the changing of the personality or what kind of personality he or she have, but focus on the insight, the skill that is already existing in that child. If you want to change the personality, so we need to change the skill, perception, and the kind of insight he or she has built. And that insight, that skill, that perception depends on what kind of self identification he or she had. The self identification is nothing but a thought, a group of many thoughts. Within that group, within that case, there is a boundary, and this boundary of thought which identify us each and every second, which cannot allow us to cross the border beyond that thought, is the self identification. See, any intention or any aspiration that a child hold within its mind, that a youth hold within its mind, gradually get converted to tendency within few weeks, few days, few months. And any intention, any tendency, if persist for a long time, it's gradually become habit. And it's take few months to few year to get a habit to convert into behavior. An enduring pattern of behavior is actually called personality. So, personality grow in this way, and personality can be installed in the same way. But it is important to understand that this personality is and behavior is woven by many thoughts, and how thought get built within our mind. Thought get built within our mind by different sources, of perception. We perceive because we sense. We sense because we have sense organ. Through this sense organ, we sense the world, the immediate world which is just around us, visible to our eyes, and the world which is even not visible to our eyes but exists. The whole universe we cannot sense with our sense organ. the whole world we cannot sense. So, using our sense organ to sense this world is a limited work. Bounding ourselves within a boundary, within a limit. But humans live with an enhanced level of skill and perception, not because of their using of their sense organs, but using the perception power, even without sense organs. Because sense organ can absorb only 5 different senses and different energies. Eyes can absorb light energy, can give vision, look to the mind, and mind ultimately use this vision to memorize, to imagine the things, and to make emotions of the present time. Gradually, the things which are in the sector of imagination get converted to our anticipation, and those who are segregated in our memory, in our experience, creates our memory. So, in this way, we sense the world with the sense organ, but we can perceive the world even without using our sense organ. But it depends that how you are perceiving, whether it is with the sense organ or without sense organ, whether you are perceiving it out of your skill, your perceptions, your thought. All these things are simple or distorted, or there is a deception, or there is obsession. If it is coming out of compulsion of any kind, then the chances are there that these thoughts are not simple, might be distorted, might be deception, might be obsession. But if these thoughts are coming out of consciousness, then these thoughts are most valuable thought. These are the non-biased thought, the non-judgmental thought. Once it is non-judgmental, non-distorted, not being dipped in the deception, not out of obsession, then this kind of thought is a pure thought. And only this thought, if built up to create a identification, would be a broader identification and have a tendency to serve a greater nation. Great peoples have pure thought, non-biased, non-judgmental, non-distorted, not dipped in the deception, and not out of obsession. When this kind of thought aggregate together and makes a identification, then there is no chance to build the ego within you. Otherwise, any thought out of your compulsion, not because of your consciousness, your awareness, is going to build certain amount of ego within you. Because ego comes out within your mind, ego come to play within your mind only when your identification is out of compulsion, not consciousness, having certain intention, aspiration, tendency. And this kind of identification need its own protection by a logic, by a basis created of its own mind, that is called ego. And to protect this ego, another entity come to secure this ego, that is called defensive mechanism of the mind. Defense mechanism try to secure the ego, and ego try to secure the self identification. In this way, our self identification, more the self identification, more the ego, more the tight grip we have holding, more the tight ego we are holding. So, lose this grip, try to loosen this grip, try to remove this boundary of thought which creating a ego. And once you loosen this grip, your ego will get dissolved. Then there is no need of defense mechanism because these thoughts are now pure thought. There doesn't need any protection of ego defense mechanism because this self identification is a general identification which is going to serve each and everyone, and not a selfish identification which is going to serve only you. In this way, if you want to build a personality within your child, a good personality within a child, so you need to change the self identification of that child, self identification built by certain thought. You need to change the thought. You need to educate them to build a good perception and sense this world not only by association of sense organ, but also by absorbing all other energy which wouldn't have the sense organ to absorb them, and those energy still exist. It's other way that we cannot understand them because we don't have the sensor to sense them, and those energy we need to absorb. That energy is the spiritual energy, that energy is the thinking energy, that energy is the pure thought which is free of any ego, free of any self identification, free of any distortion, deception, or obsession. It is free of any misconception. It is a pure thought. Identification in the mind made by the pure thought is always superior than an identification out of any misconception or any distortion. And this thought, when gathered together, and the behavior or the activities coming out of this thought, the emotion that coming out of this thought is the good emotion. It get reflect to produce joy, happiness, blissfulness, and ecstasy. Otherwise, if the emotions are coming out of the compulsive thought, it is going to produce unpleasant emotion within you, within your mind, and that unpleasant emotion going to produce hatred, harassment like thought, resentment, anger, anxiety, tension, stress. Building up of this kind of tension, stress, and anxiety in long term going to produce a depression within your mind, suicidal ideation, deliberate self harm, fluctuating emotional changes, having a tendency towards harming self and harming others, harming society. But a pure thought that build a good behavior, good habits, good personality, because so the behavior or the activities that coming out of consciousness, not out of compulsion, is always going to build a good personality within your child. So there is a role of mind, there is a role of thinking, there is a role of thought, there is a role of pure thought to build a good personality. Now the thoughts are within the mind, so there is a definite role of mind. What mind do? Mind connect your inner world, that is your body, with the outer world, that is the immediate environment, and remote environment, that is the whole universe. So mind has a very big work to do. It establishes a relation of harmony and accord with your inner environment, that is your body, and also side by side it try to create a relation with the society, within the external world, by the help of sense organ, absorbing information from the world through its sense organ, by vision, by listening, by touch, by smell, by perception, by five sense organ. It is connecting all time, every second with the world and absorbing millions of information by sensing different sense organ through our skin also, and creating this sense over the mind, different part of the brain, creating perception within the mind, perception creating different thought again, and thought creating, and out of this thought, whether it is conscious or compulsion, the different things are coming out of that. If it is conscious thought, going to build a good habit, good activities, good behavior. And if it is compulsive thought, it's going to create different kind of emotion, unpleasant emotion. So, it is important that if the behavior, the activities, the perception, the thought coming out of consciousness, then and only then there would be a empathy. So here is the role of empathy. If empathy exists in your every thought, in your every emotion, in your vital energy, and the energy, the level of energy at which you live, then your child is going to have a brilliant kind of personality, wonderful personality. So try to insert a empathy. Empathy is a capacity to understand what other feel and feel with them. So it's going to create a harmony and relation of accord with your external world. So mind with empathy, if exist within your child, it's going to build a good personality in future. Thank you.